Gimbals. Everybody loves gimbals, right? Big gimbals, small gimbals, smartphone gimbals. Just simply the love for gimbals. But are they necessary when in-body image stabilization and optical stabilization technology in cameras are getting better and better by the day? And now with gyro stabilization software, are gimbals a thing of the past?
What's going on, my YouTube family? Thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. So today we're talking gimbals, and I simply just love gimbals. I actually own 2 gimbals and I would love to own more gimbals. But ever since the Weeble S dropped not so long ago, about a couple of weeks ago, I actually asked the question to myself personally, why do we need gimbals? Why do we have to go with gimbals? Why are gimbals even a thing in the pro consumer market? Especially with the gimbals coming out almost on a yearly basis every 2 years, because for me a gimbal is a long-term investment. It's almost like buying a car in the same way. As my screen went off, it's exactly the same thing as buying a car. You're not just going to go out and buy any sort of car. It's the same thing with gimbal. In this video, what I want to do is I'm not going to focus on any specific gimbal moves, but I'm just going to demonstrate the differences between steady, clean, smooth shots versus handheld shots. And then, you can make that decision if it's something that you want to invest in. Personally, if I can buy more gimbals, I'll buy more gimbals. But I mean, I have a wife and kids, so I have to always consult before I even go that route.
Like many, gimbals were first introduced to me as the one tool filmmakers needed to make their footage appear more cinematic. But by now, we all know that it takes more than just a gimbal to be a great filmmaker.
If you're new to the channel, my name is Brian Olsen. Welcome. Please consider hitting the subscribe button, also the thumbs up button and the bell notification button if you want to be notified for any future videos. We all have to say this, and unfortunately it's called the creator economy. You have to ask the same thing. So if you're nice enough, please consider subscribing to my channel, hit the bell notification button, and like. Just tell your friends about it as well. South African vlogger, we're doing our things and trying to expand as much as we can. So without further ado, let's go into the video.
The most commonly known gimbal is the electronic powered 3-axis gimbal. Namely, pitch, yaw, and row ensures that the camera rotates around an axis throughout filmmaking, allowing the camera to be very stable and footage smooth during recording.
So I focused on 3 main settings, if you want to call it settings. It is shots with a gimbal. It is shots without a gimbal with active stabilization on. So it was handheld. And then the third one was active stabilization turned off, handheld as well. And then maybe a fourth one, taking that exact same footage and taking it in post-production, stabilizing it, and see what difference there is and what advantage there is.
So I'm just gonna make the clip roll. There were too many dogs barking, so I'm just going to show you here while I'm talking to the camera. This is the Crane M2 and the ZV-1 paired together with the ZV-1's active stabilization switched off. Remember that the ZV-1 has an electronic stabilization system. It's not built-in IBIS to take full advantage of the 24mm field of view. Switching off the active stabilization, and together with the Crane M2, I stretched my hand out as far as possible to try and get a field of view. So you can see that even with the active stabilization switched off and the little bit of length with the Crane M2, I still don't get the widest field of view. So I do wish that the ZV-1 did come out with maybe like a 20mm or even an 18mm, because if this is a vlogging camera, you obviously want your subject to be dead in the center with as much visuals of the scenery, the behind the scenes, or wherever you are when vlogging. So now I'm going to take the ZV-1 off of the gimbal. I'm going to put on active stabilization and I'm going to vlog as well. Okay, so that's with the steady shot on active, like the full on function. I'm also going to talk through this because of the dogs. There were a lot of dogs barking and a lot of traffic happening because this was peak time traffic. So in this footage here, as you can see while I'm vlogging, this is active stabilization. My arm is stretched out as far as possible to try and maximize the 24mm, but now it's cropped in. You can see that there are micro jitters in the footage. It's not as stable as with the Crane M2. So definitely the gimbal trumps the electronic stabilization, the active electronic stabilization in the ZV-1. So now I'm going to switch it off and I am going to have no stabilization whatsoever. So I should gain the 24mm field of view, but now you'll see that the footage is not as stable. So I can't tell the difference, to be honest with you, because in the little display, it doesn't look that much of a difference, the crop in with the active. But you can definitely see that, and I'm just walking, I'm not even running. Active stabilization is switched off. It is completely off. There's no stabilization whatsoever. I've gained the 24mm field of view, no longer cropped, and you can see that this is terrible. You can't do this at all. So now, according to Sony, this footage, if I take this footage and I put it in Catalyst Browse, it will stabilize it because of the built-in gyroscope. In the ZV-1, it's also an A7S III, so I should regain some sort of stabilization, but at a cost as well, because it does crop in the image as well. So let's see what that looks like. What? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a great example to never rely on Catalyst Browse to stabilize footage. Not only did it not do anything for the stabilization of this particular clip, it cropped in too much. So definitely Catalyst Browse is a complete no-no. There is no field of view whatsoever. It did not do anything for stabilization, and I tried to see if there are settings that I can adjust in Catalyst Browse to gain some sort of field of view and add a little bit of stabilization, but this is it. You drag it in there and you say stabilize, and this is what you get. Cannot rely on Catalyst Browse to be able to stabilize a vlog footage. Maybe something else, I haven't tried it yet, but I can already say that from a vlogging standpoint, you're gonna lose so much because it just crops in too much. So you can see that a gimbal, there's a massive advantage with using a gimbal for cinematic shots. But if you are just starting out, you bought yourself a brand new camera, you're excited to go out and shoot, but then you're also thinking, what other additional gear do I need? I would rather advise, focus on your camera settings first, focus on your art first, focus on understanding your gear first, master that, and then go on to the next level. Because when I bought my first gimbal, which is the DJI Osmo 3, and I just went buck wild. I started learning about V&D filters, which is a variable ND filter. I learned about external lenses. So I bought all of this gear and I discovered that the DJI Osmo is not made to have a massive payload. Buy gear that is fit for purpose. Get gear that is fit for purpose. Don't go and spend too much cash unnecessarily and you have not developed the skills in terms of storytelling, in terms of, making use of the gimbal in the first place, because the stuff's gonna gather dust. You're gonna be discouraged at the end of the day because you're not getting stuff right. You haven't figured out color grading yet. You haven't figured out sequencing of shots, framing, all of those things. Learn how to tell stories with what you have, and then you start advancing. The weather's just completely changed. So yeah, I think I showed you enough footage to explain, why to get a gimbal. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw in a few other shots here. I'm just going to put some nice cinematic music. These are all gimbal shots, and yeah, it's just for the heck of it because I recorded it and I'm not going to waste the footage. So enjoy. Tell me if you like it.
Thank you so much for watching the video. If you find anything on my channel of value, if you found anything in this video of value, I would ask you to join the team, join the community. Let's grow together. We're on the road to 1,000 subs, hopefully by the end of 2021. I started my YouTube channel around January, February. It's now August, which is about 8 months in. So I literally have 4 months to get to that goal. So please hit the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to hit the bell notification button, because without those two combinations, you're obviously not going to get to like see my ugly face again. And secondly, like, subscribers without the bell notification button actually means nothing. The engagement is more important. So that's how the algorithm works. So for those that didn't know that, there you know, you know now. And then for the avid YouTube users, please be kind, drop a comment, tell me who you are, tell me where you're from, and let's talk about filmmaking. I mean, I am just like on my journey of being a filmmaker, and thus far the things that I've created, very excited, and I just look forward to creating more stuff. And YouTube is just another sphere of that. Other people would consider YouTube not to be a form of filmmaking, but hey, each to his own. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, cheers.